welcome. Suciotalk. Another episode of ShoutOuts and Ramblings. Okay? It's been difficult to get guests on here, but as you know, I will just do one-man shows. This past week, my apologies for not putting an episode out. I wasn't feeling very podcasty. All right? So rather than bring you all down with negative rants, I decided to take a week, gather my thoughts, and then be able to, do what I do. First off, I'd like to thank Logic Thompson and Dave Dreyfus for their continued support of Suciotalk. I know it's Dave's favorite podcast, which it means a lot. I mean, the fact that people actually take the time to type it into their phones and listen to the show really makes me grateful. Shout out to all the cooks out there listening to this in the kitchen. I talked to Chef Omri Aflalo of Tribune Oakland. They just opened, all right? And he wrote me a little message because I extended my stay here in the great state of Wyoming. I'm going to stay here for another 10 days past the mark that I was supposed to. So I got a very lucrative job, same kind of thing, personal chef on a ranch, cooking for 12 to 16 guests, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's a good opportunity, so I'm not going to pass it up. But after that, I will start my road trip. Changes the road trip a little bit because I'm losing 10 days. So I'm thinking I might either a few cities will get skipped, depends on which cities I can't get podcasts in, or I will fly. But even then, flying into New York is such a hassle. You know what I mean? The train takes like an hour and a half to get into Manhattan. So it's like I hate dealing with that. I like just like getting into a car and driving, but then the rental prices are crazy, which is originally why I wanted to drive, one, to be able to drive my car across country. I've done it once already, but I'd like to do it again, sort of because I'm scouting out my next place to live. All right, I'm a gun for hire. You know what I'm saying? I will come cook in your home. If you know anybody or want to set anything up for a dinner, a lunch, a breakfast, whatever it is, for however many people, don't matter. Dave will come to a city near you and cook you a delicious meal for you and your family. All right, for a price, son. You know what I mean? I can't be doing this shit for free. So Chef Omri Aflalo, he wrote, love the cast. Keep pushing, homie. You are an inspiration, and we talked about you in our post-service kitchen meeting last night. Got the cooks to listen in on the show. Hell yeah, Chef. That's what I'm talking about. Spreading the word of Suciotalk. As this podcast gains traction and gets older, there's new ideas that have been sort of funneling into my head. Like I want to do shows. I want to be able to, for example, be like, "Hey, Snail Bar, you're closed on Monday. We'll have some bites at the table, for included in your ticket price, and you come in and you can witness firsthand live a chef being interviewed by your boy Dave. You know what I mean? By your boy David, should I say. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun, and it will actually give me a little bit of practice in my stand-up game, I also saw that High Felicia Supper Club got a write-up. You can follow her on Instagram, High Felicia Supper Club. And she's got a statement to make here, which I think is powerful. And so let me go ahead and read it off. So let's see. Woke up to insanely cool press from at East Bay Nosh, Nosh, in 7x7 Bay Area, written by at Bico Astalista, Bicoastalista, and Nick Zap, Nick Czap. I've worked tireless for a very long time to make Hi Felicia a special, intimate space for people to enjoy food and wine with loved ones. My team keeps it all together. I work with the most wonderful, talented crew who I cannot thank enough. This journey has been the ride of my life, and it's until the wheels fall all the way off. I'm just getting started. Black and brown people, all uppercase, need to be in luxury spaces. That is 100% facts. And if not the luxury that we know as now, we need to invent what is black and brown luxury. If it's not seen in the other space, you know what I mean? If it's the last fucking thing I do, I'm gonna do it. And to all the middle-aged white men who made my career unbearable, to every guest who ever made me feel bad when I was their server with intense racial microaggressions, to everyone who smiles when they see me and then talk about me at my super precious restaurant when I'm not around, I just want to be really clear. I'm just fucking starting. So settle in. I love you all so much. I'll say it forever. Thank you. Pretty cool. I've talked to her a little bit over Instagram DM, and I will have her on the show when I get back up to the West Coast. All right. I think she does it in the Oakland Hills. Sort of has an amazing view. I know Chef Costa went there with Martina. I saw pictures of them there on the gram. So, and here's the article reads: Underground Oakland Supper Club Hi Felicia isn't afraid of the spotlight. Oakland's hottest supper club is booked for months with fans like Alice Waters, none of whom care that it's totally against the law. So, there it is. It's pretty cool that she's getting this recognition. She damn well better, because she's been on her grind for quite a while now. And then I got an email from a person that I will leave unnamed, just because I haven't talked to him and asked him if I could, read this email aloud. But it sort of was the first step into picking me up out of the funk of not feeling podcasty enough. All right. So he says, hey, David, I'm a huge fan of your podcast. I listen to it every day on my way to work and on my way home. I'm opening a restaurant in Ormond Beach, Florida. I'm the executive chef, so I've done everything from writing the menu and recipes, mapping out the kitchen setup, all the way down to the plateware and silver, to the color of the booths and what pictures will be hanging on the walls. It's awesome, man. But as you can imagine, it's pretty time-consuming. Putting in these 14 to 16-hour days while trying to be there for my fiance and 2 kids is pretty rough sometimes. Trying to balance work life and family life is very difficult. I get so much ideas and motivation from listening to your podcast, it gets me through the rough times. That is, that's awesome to hear. That is why I do the podcast, to inspire, right? So when you are feeling low and down, which tends to happen a lot in the culinary industry, but, those feelings are going to happen when you're trying to be the best at something, when you're trying to be great at something. So it's almost inevitable to feel those things sometimes. And not to mention, we have a lot of dickheads in our industry who lead by terror and fear. And make people feel really fucking uncomfortable for years to come. I mean, I still remember shit that happened to me in my second restaurant, first restaurants, shit that was horrible, that felt bad, that you just really don't get over, So maybe we need to find a way to get this all out in the open, and it's sort of happening. Eater's got this series where chefs and restaurant industry folk alike hop on there and write anonymous stories about, mistreatment and abuse in the restaurant industry. So check that out. I'm not sure what the series is called, but I just saw that another article that Riley Redfern was a part of, and she talks about the fact that she was a Michelin star pastry chef for 12 years, and then the pandemic came. Losing that job had let her know that she didn't want to go back to that job. She didn't want to have that negative life, because at the end of the day, you're in the restaurant for 14 to 16 hours. Like you need to be happy being there. Yes, of course, you need to have some butterflies when you go into work and be sort of, stressed out a little bit about what's going to happen, or else it's just too easy, And again, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So he says, although I'm not as accomplished as the chefs you have on your podcast, a lot of people say that, and let me tell you something. Nobody is unqualified to be on the podcast, okay? Except for maybe, murderers and rapists and and assholes alike, okay? Those people will never be on here. But if you're a cook, man, and you're passionate about what you're doing, and you have thoughts and ideas and on how to make the industry better and what we should be doing, but also a humbleness to want to learn, I want you on the show, So let's see if I can get out there to Florida and see if I can get into this steakhouse. So I'll continue. I have worked at some of the nicest steakhouses and restaurants in Orlando, Florida, now here in Daytona/New Smyrna Beach area. I'm relatively young to be holding my position, 29 years old, and like I mentioned earlier, I have no stars on my resume. Michelin Guide doesn't hit Florida, as you know. But I do believe I have a hell of a story to tell. He is an alcoholic and drug addict in recovery, been sober for 3 years, and it's very tough to stay sober in the food industry, as we all know. So, I believe my story could really resonate with some people. You make great content, you make me laugh, and give me the let's get up and go when I'm feeling out of it. That's honestly why I do this podcast. Other than getting in the room with cool-ass people and having a reason to reach out to people weirdly. And just cold DMing them and be like, hey, you want to be on my podcast? But, all the people that I ask are interesting, and every human being, for the most part, is interesting. There is some boring-ass people out there, but, it's not their fault. It's just the way they are. Keep making great content. I would love to invite you out to the restaurant one day so you could check us out. I will not name the restaurant just yet. Hell, I would really love to be on your podcast one day. Not sure how you choose your guests, but I'd love to kitchen talk with you about life. I lost my place here, guys. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Love to kitchen talk with you about life, work, and the industry in general. You speak my language. Thank you very much for writing this. I saw it this morning, and it brought a smile to my face because I know that this podcast is doing what it's supposed to do. And I've offended some people, but they've reached out and we've hashed it out, so no issues there. But again, if anybody ever feels offended or feels like they have a point to make on maybe an issue I was talking about, suciotalk@gmail.com. Once again, I have no kitchen story for you guys because there's been some laziness going on that's running rampant through my listeners, and nobody's writing me emails. So I have 3 stories down, and that is it. So thank you to those 3 guys that wrote in. It was really fun to read those stories, and